Man, welcome back to the Cruise Dynasty podcast. We're going to talk a little bit of football. Go through a mock draft that we got here that me and Austin Craft just did with our league that we in. But first...
Mock draft?
Oh, no, not a mock draft. The real shebang. The real thing. That we just did. Yeah.
Ain't holding nothing back.
Have done some mock drafts, but yep, add the podcast, Cruise Dynasty podcast. But this episode right here is gonna be a little casual. We didn't really write anything down. At least I didn't. Did you?
Nah, we just doing casual. We're just going. There's gonna be a lot of hate on this episode, and a lot of praise. So just if you listen to it and you did in this draft, like just don't get your feelings hurt real easy. Don't be like the world is nowadays, Just tough skin, alligator.
Yeah. Well, shoot, before we hop on this mock draft, let's just talk some news. I just see right off from the jump that Geno Smith named starter for week 1. I feel like that's best case scenario for DK, just in the situation that he's in. I'm still not high on DK, but, he went through that stretch of success last year with Geno. I don't think that could be sustained through a whole season, but
Yeah, I thought Geno was going to start. I never thought Drew was a lock.
Right. Yep.
Just forget all about it. Just forget all about that. We'll move on from that real quick. Go ahead, Matt.
Man, Seahawks very interested in Jimmy Garoppolo. That would be huge too.
Man, one thing about that, the Seahawks kind of run a vertical scheme. I always thought that Jimmy G doesn't really fit real well with the Seahawks, but unless Pete Carroll changes that offense around, but I think he'd be better than what's there. But I kind of always thought that Jimmy G just ain't the quarterback for them. They need somebody who can run that vertical scheme a little bit better, but see what happens.
Kenny Pickett getting some buzz to be the starter opening day, and Mason Rudolph in some trade rumors. Had a good preseason, so what you think about that one? Is Kenny Pickett going to start?
Goes, I think, oh, man, that's so tough. If I was the Steelers, I think I'd start him. He's looked great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a Trubisky fan too, but Pickett has looked very good. So I think I'd give him a shot.
Yeah, no doubt. He's like 24 years old or whatever. I know they didn't draft him in the first round. They let him sit. So might as well throw him on out there. That's how I see it.
Yeah, he's a 4-year starter, so he's not technically the youngest rookie you're going to find coming in, like when Lamar came out.
Yeah.
Of college. So I think he's got some experience, and in the preseason, I don't take that much about it, but he's done good in like all the situations, 2-minute, 4-minute, long drives. Like he's kind of checked all the boxes, I feel like. So, I feel like it's time. Go ahead and put him out there.
Yep, no doubt. So any other news we got out there?
No, not much I can think of.
Damian Pierce probably going to be starting.
Yeah, I think he's going to be in there. He's already shooting up.
Yeah.
Shooting up ADP though. So I think people are taking advantage of it right now to get the Texans starting running back.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. Well, I guess I'm ready to start talking about this mock if you are.
I'm ready to hate.
Yep. So
born to hate.
Half PPR, redraft, 12-man. I was picking from the 101. You was picking from the 107. No tight end premium. What else? Anything else I got to say? Special teams and kicker.
Yeah, special teams and kicker. We got
Your
got to stick
basic.
with the old school, man.
Yeah, I'm my dynasty league, the home league I'm in. We're pretty much voting on getting rid of kickers and special teams and stuff like that. But if we have the votes to keep the special teams and kicker, I'm gonna keep them. It's just all part of the game to me.
I think the same too because I just feel like you need to have a little bit of diversity
Yeah,
in your lineup. You know, just do running backs and receivers the whole entire draft. I'd like to, do a little bit something different.
it's just another aspect.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I know plenty of teams who've won with kickers.
Yep.
Like last year in the championship, it's gonna be a kind of long story, but last year in the championship, M was down by 5 points. Buddy had Nick Chubb and he had Chris Boswell, and he ended up M won the championship by 12. M won the championship by 12 points with his kicker outscoring Nick Chubb. So they make a difference.
Well,
I
that's
say
just
keep them.
crazy. Crazy.
Mm-hmm. Crazy stuff. I
Well,
like
look,
kickers. I like defenses.
I say we just go through these rounds. We'll take it player by player, at least in the first couple rounds, because we'll die. Because I know we've been talking about some of these guys, so we want to talk about where they went. Then, as we get through the draft, we'll just start talking about maybe what we did. I'll talk about what I did at the turn.
Yeah.
Talk about the strategies we went through. So at the 101, of course, I went Jonathan Taylor. There was no doubt about it
Stupid.
for me. Christian McCaffrey, whatever, the upside's there. I don't care. This dude's got an injury history, so he did go at the 102. Eckler went at the 103. Then Cooper Kupp at the 4. Derrick Henry at the 5. Justin Jefferson at the 6. Anything that, before you say what you did, anything that caught your eye? Kupp ahead of Henry. Would you have done the same, or?
Yeah, I think I don't know if I'd have done the same. I probably would have took Henry, but I'm not gonna pick and prod at that one. I think Cup's amazing. He scored the most fantasy points outside of quarterback last year, and he's still got some room to regress and still be great. So I would, that's fine with me. Preference.
Yeah, I would have taken Kupp. I think there's an argument to take Kupp at the 103 and Jefferson at the 104, I think. But, running backs, got to know who you're playing with, too. Running backs were going to fly off the shelf in this league. So,
As they should. As they
yep,
should.
as they should. So, Cooper Kupp at the 4, Henry at the 5, Jefferson at the 6, and then Austin Craft at the 7.
Yeah. Dalvin Cook at the 7. I had a rule in my head that at the 7, if the main running backs were gone that I wanted, so I would have took Taylor, McCaffrey, Eckler, Henry at the 7, and I would have took Cooper Kupp or Jefferson. But there's a drop off after Jefferson for me to Jamar Chase, and there's a drop off between Dalvin Cook and Joe Mixon, my next ranked running back. So I went with the position there, the running backs are going to be scarce throughout the draft. So I felt like it was the right thing to do to go Cook right there, according to my rankings and everything.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I like the pick right in front of Jamar Chase. Any debate? Was there any debate? Any?
No, there wasn't any debate on that. I'm not as high on Jamar Chase as a lot of folks. I think
Yeah.
I
So
think they're gonna yeah
so
double them a little bit more this year.
at the 109, our guy P Miller went Joe Mixon. That was ahead of Najee at the 10, Nick Chubb at the 11th. Any problems with that? Would you have gone Joe Mixon over Najee and Nick Chubb?
Yeah, I would have. I would have done that. The only one there that I wouldn't have done was probably Nick Chubb, but
Yeah.
Joe Mixon
Same.
there, Najee good, and then Nick Chubb might have went a little earlier than I would have picked.
So on the turn, Devontae Adams went at the 112, Aaron Jones at the 2-1, Josh Allen, first quarterback off the board at the 2-2. That's a little high for me. What about you? Are we hating?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm hating.
I don't think just don't do it. Just don't pick a quarterback that early. I just did a draft today, and quarterbacks didn't go until the back of the third round, so the very start of the fourth. And I feel like that's where they need to go because you can just find one who's going to score very close to the amount of points in the seventh, eighth round. I just don't think it's worth it.
Agreed. So Alvin Kamara went at the 2-3. I would have taken Kamara over Chubb. Aaron Jones, I would have taken over Chubb. Travis Kelce at the 2-4. First tight end off the board. How do you feel about it?
I don't do it, but some people do. I don't feel like it ever works out for the people that do, but
yeah,
to each their own, I guess. I'm just not an early tight end guy, not that early.
Travis Kelce, has the opportunity. Could be. I think he will be the number one tight end in the league. I feel like it's always good to have the advantage at tight end. It's not too many tight ends even out there, so if you got the advantage, go for it.
It'll be Mark Andrews, people, and y'all can get him at the end of the first and start of the second. You can get the number one tight end, not the number two.
Well, shoot, at the 2-5, Stephon Diggs.
That's good. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs was very stout.
So this guy went Jamar Chase and Stephon Diggs. This is whatever this guy's name is. I gotta give him credit.
This guy's. This is Levi. This is my boy. Shout out.
Shout out to Levi.
He came in with a plan and he executed. I like it.
Because there's no doubt that that's a good start to a draft. Jamar, Stephon Diggs. I like it.
Yeah, I agree.
So at the 2-6, what did you do?
Went with my boy. Went with the dog. Went with the Georgia Bulldog.
The dog.
DeAndre Swift. He's one of my higher ranked and more upside running backs. I'm definitely super happy that I got him right there. I would have taken him over Nick Chubb, who went in the first round. Kamara went before him. Aaron Jones. That'd have been a very close call, but it was almost an auto pick for me at that point because right after that, right after I picked Swift, went Debo, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill. And if I was wanting to go wide receiver heavy, I'd have thought about it, but I wanted my running backs early. So
yep, I definitely like that pick. Dalvin Cook, DeAndre Swift. Definitely a good start to the running backs. And I know we're high on running backs, so at the 2-7,
yeah.
Debo Samuel, 2-8, CeeDee Lamb, 2-9, Tyreek Hill. So it goes Debo, CD, Tyreek. Yep. You got any problems with that, or is that how you think it should have felt?
No, I mean,
I would have taken CD over Debo for sure.
I don't think I would have. I mean, I think they're very close in rankings wise, but shoot, to start off with Justin Jefferson, Debo Samuel. That's my boy Noah, my boy Levi. Kind of had the same strategy. It looks like right here.
Yeah.
So they were really wide receiver heavy, which I don't mind.
Yep.
I don't mind any of them picks except for Tyreek Hill there.
So our guy,
I'm not happy about that one.
Our guy Slim Easy went Saquon Barkley. His draft starts off with Eckler and Saquon, running back heavy, just like what you decided to do. But I'm not really as high on Saquon.
Me and him have been arguing about Saquon all off season, man.
Yeah,
he can have him.
I would have taken Javonte over Saquon.
Shoot.
Would you have?
There's a lot of people out there. Yeah. I ain't dealing with Saquon this year, man. I just ain't doing it, but I might be wrong. Saquon he's got the most upside right there besides Javonte, so they're very close, but we'll see. He knows what he's doing, so.
Yeah, so Javonte went at the 2-11. Then I went at the 2-3 turn, and I went Mark Andrews And I never draft tight ends high,
Two
so
sorry ass
yeah,
picks in a row right there at
never.
the one.
I just I never draft tight ends high, but I did. I was doing mock drafts a lot, and I was seeing that I was always around Kyle Pitts. So then I always was thinking about should I do Kyle Pitts, but that's just too high. But then stuff started happening, and Mark Andrews started falling to me in some mock drafts. So then I was like, well, you know what? And when the real draft comes up, if Mark Andrews falls to me, I'm definitely gonna take him. So I took him. Now I got
I don't
the
mind. I don't really mind the Mark Andrews pick, but that next pick you make was made me
at the
puke
three
in my
one.
mouth.
At the 3-1, I went AJ Brown.
Over Pittman, over Mike Evans,
Man,
over
I
Keenan
and
Allen,
I
over T. Higgins. All right, I'm done. Go ahead.
but honestly, I do agree with my pick because that's how I ranked it. I definitely got AJ Brown. I've been buying AJ Brown more as of late. Definitely has games where he disappears, but I think the situation is just right in Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts gonna ball out this year. I think AJ Brown gonna get like 8 to 10 targets a game. They're gonna be running the ball a lot still. I
But
actually
how,
like my
how are
pick.
you going to
I
pick
do
the
wish I
number
had
one
Pittman
for
though.
Jalen Hurts? How would you pick the number one for Jalen Hurts, the most run heavy offense in the league over Mike Evans with Tom Brady and the most pass heavy offense? Please explain yourself. I can't. I don't understand.
Too. I don't think AJ Brown's gonna have the competition like Mike Evans is. Chris Godwin, Julio's gonna cut in a little bit. Russell Gage, AJ Brown. I mean, who's he gonna? I mean, Dallas Goddard. Not really. Devontae
He's got
Smith.
competition, but the Buccaneers are going to
Devontae's.
throw 20 more passes go around though.
Well, I'm just thinking every pass is gonna go to AJ Brown. Short passes, just running the ball. It's gonna
We're
be
gonna
giving
we're
it.
gonna see about this.
Yeah, well, we will see about it because
I'm just glad you took them, so I didn't even.
Yeah.
Leave me the good stuff. So leave me the good stuff. Take all that doo doo.
So I think I had him ranked like eighth, and I got him as like the 10th wide receiver off the board. I think, but you're all right. Michael Pittman went at the 3-2, Leonard Fournette at the 3-3, Patty Mahomes at the 3-4, Zeke at the 3-5, Mike Evans at the 3-6, and then your third pick came
Right.
up.
Yeah. And I went with James Conner. 3 running backs straight: Dalvin Cook, DeAndre Swift, James Conner. I've said all along that I like to get them running backs early, and there's great receivers in the middle round. So if I have the chance to do it, and the good running backs make it, James Conner as my 3. I feel super happy about that.
Yeah, that running back room is definitely stacked. You're weak at wide receiver right now, though. So
Just wait for the wide receivers to come off. Everybody's gonna be like, God, how did he do that? What a
So
genius.
yeah, I like the pick too, though. James Conner as your third running back. I mean, that's just stacked, no doubt about it. But anyways, Keenan Allen at the 3-8, T Higgins at the 3-9, DK at the 3-10, Scary Terry at the 3-11.
Man.
So I don't know. I'm just not big on DK or Terry, to be quite
Wait
honest
till you
with you.
say the next guy.
Yeah, the
3
312
picks in
Cam
a row.
Akers. Whew. And I ain't been high at Cam Akers at all, so I'm looking at this pick with a little side eye.
We talking about the third round, man. I can't get it. I can't get. And then the next pick after Cam Akers from the same guy. Go ahead.
Kyler Murray, yep.
In the fourth.
Scoote or
Every
something.
mock draft I've done, Kyler Murray has gone in about the sixth. So I don't think. I mean, if you want to take your guy, go out and get him. There's a very good chance Kyler Murray finishes in the
Yeah,
top 5. So
yep.
I don't
And
blame
you
him
never
too
know,
bad. I
like,
just think he could have got him later. That's all. I don't mind Kyler Murray as your quarterback, but I think he might could have waited around and still got him.
and then doing that, I will say that, what if, we could definitely be wrong about Cam Akers. He could come out and be one of these top 10 guys that people, I don't really, I don't think that, but if he is, him and Kyler, I mean, you could be stacked. but I wouldn't have
We're
done it.
not wrong, Matt. We're right. We're right. We're
So
right.
Kyle Pitts at the 4-2, George Kittle at the 4-3, Brees Hall at the 4-4, Justin Herbert at the 4-5.
That's kind of a. I don't know if I say that's a steal. I think that's about right on point with Justin Herbert, about fourth round, mid fourth.
What about?
And then your boy. And then your boy,
Yep, go for it.
Cortland Sutton, number one wide receiver on championship team. So
Yep.
he's my 11th ranked wide receiver. So I still, in my book, got a wide receiver one in the fourth round, which I will take all day, every day to match for my running back. So
Yeah, I knew you.
going on to the next.
It's so funny, man. I was on the phone with Phil. I told him, I was like, he's definitely going Cortland Sutton. Right there in the fourth round. So definitely a draft that you was looking forward to. 3 running backs, Cortland Sutton. I like the start too. Because I'm high
Yep.
on Cortland Sutton. I'm obviously not top 12 high, but top 6. I got him 16th on my rankings. At the 4-7, Travis
Yeah.
Etienne. 4-8, Joe Burrow. 4-9, David Montgomery.
Too early.
4-10,
Too
Waddle.
early. Too early.
4-11, Mike Williams. What you think about all that? Too early for Joe Burrow?
Too early for Joe Burrow.
Too
And
early for
I
David
just think,
Montgomery.
yeah, too early for Montgomery. The running backs that went after him, I
At the
would have took
4-9.
Dobbins for the upside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have took Dobbins, Elijah Mitchell, who went a whole round later. But
AJ Dillon.
Joe Burrow definitely early.
Yep, but that's just
But
because
I
I'm
feel
not
like two
high on David
receivers.
Montgomery.
Well, tell me about DJ Moore right here. You picked DJ Moore and Mike
Yep.
Williams and Jalen Waddle went right before that. Would you have taken one of them instead, or did you kind of get sniped right there?
Nah, DJ Moore was definitely what I was going for. But
Oh, Waddle and Williams, Mike Williams.
yeah, I think Waddle. I'm glad that Waddle. These are just decisions that I'm glad I didn't have to make because I might would have taken one. I would have taken one of them at the turn over J.K. Dobbins, who I took at the 5-1. But I definitely wanted
It's
another
making
running
for your
back.
AJ Brown pick. Yeah.
Nah, but I would have liked to have Mike Williams or Jalen Waddle. I would have liked to have them both.
That'd have been nice starting to draft off with AJ Brown, DJ Moore, Mike Williams, or
Yeah.
Waddle. That your wide receiver room would have been set.
But
And then
instead,
JT is your main running back.
yep,
That's sweet.
I got J.K. So J.K. Dobbins at the 5-1. So Taylor and Dobbins are my running backs, and then Brown and Moore are my wide receivers right now. Dang, man, I might just win it all. Might just this might be my year. I think.
Yep, I think the same thing. I'm feeling
But
pretty happy about it.
at the 5-2, Lamar Jackson. 5-3, AJ Dillon. 5-4, Deontay Johnson. 5-5, Darren Waller. 5-6, Josh Jacobs.
Yep,
Anything?
and
I,
no, not really right there. I feel like that's pretty standard.
yeah.
Looking at the players that went after him and not really seeing nothing crazy out of the ordinary. I feel like that little run right there was pretty standard. Do you see anything?
Nope, I'm with you.
Yeah, nothing crazy, nothing to hate on right now. But we'll find something. We'll find something later.
So what you do at the 5-7?
Well, I started off with 3 running backs, so I felt like my running backs were pretty safe right there, and we were kind of in the RB dead zone, which was what I was trying to avoid. So I went Allen Robinson right there. I feel like he's super, super safe with Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp taking up half the coverage of the defense that they're facing. I feel like he's going to be running wide open, one-on-one coverages against the second cornerback this year. So the only thing I had right there was, do I go Allen Robinson or Marquise Brown? That was it.
That's what
Which one?
I was just thinking, and
Yeah.
I would have went Marquise Brown. I would have.
Yeah. It was very close for me, but The only thing that put me apart of that was just I think Marquise Brown is going to have a better first 6 weeks because of Hopkins being gone, but I think Robinson is going to be steady for me all year. So uh, I kind of just went with a little safety there.
So at the 5'8", Elijah Mitchell, 5'9", Marquise Brown. At the 5'10", Clyde. At the 5'11", Jared Judy. At the 5'12", Dalton Schultz.
You can tell we're getting to the doo-doo running backs
Yep,
at this point.
it is what it is. Like some of these guys coming off the board, like Antonio Gibson, it comes off at the 6'2". Miles Sanders comes off at the 6'4". Both guys that I really don't want, especially Antonio
I'd have
Gibson.
taken receivers. Yeah.
There is a point where I would have taken Antonio Gibson, but in the 6 rounds, just not to that point. I don't know. I don't even know where I would wait to, but at the
This draft happened about a week or two ago, so it was a little before he was running on special teams.
yeah.
So maybe after this draft, Buddy was like, yeah, might shouldn't have done that. Probably got a backup running back in the 6th round. So
Yeah, that's just a tough one,
not
man.
not happy about it.
Antonio Gibson definitely has fallen at a ridiculous rate. Something that just doesn't happen too often. But at the 6'3" was Juju. Like I said, Miles Sanders went at the 6'4", so Dawson Knox at the 6'5".
That's early for Dawson Knox.
Yep, agreed. So what'd you do at the
Don't you
6'6"?
agree? Well, got my quarterback at the 6'6", which was it was really between Russell Wilson, who went right after me, and Jalen Hurts. And I just remember Jalen Hurts last year. He had 16 total I mean, it's not total touchdowns, 16 passing touchdowns last year, and still finished right there in the middle of right there in the middle of the pack of QB1s. And I'm like, all he has to do is just do a little bit better. So, and you got AJ Brown there. I feel pretty safe with Jalen Hurts as my QB1.
Agree, man. I'm definitely high on Jalen Hurts. So you definitely had a good. Would you say up to this point you'd have the ideal draft? Everything's going according to plan.
Yeah, it's going like right as I wanted it to. But to look at the exact finish last year with Jalen Hurts, he finished his QB9 with 16 passing touchdowns.
Man,
So if you have any belief that he can get up to 25 passing touchdowns and keep that same rushing upside, he's just he's gonna be great for you. So I think he's very, very safe quarterback to pick this year.
any debate between Jalen Hurts or Russell Wilson in the 6th round?
Just a rushing, just a rushing upside. I think Wilson has more weapons, but I'm taking that rushing upside with Jalen Hurts. Russ isn't quite as mobile as he used to be. I mean, uh, Jalen Hurts has just got so much rushing upside. He rushed for 784 yards last year. That's that's more than Josh Allen. Lamar got hurt, so he's in the top 3 of the rushing quarterbacks coming in. So that was the big difference for me.
All right, so I'm gonna skip all the way down to the 6'12", and I'll talk about the 6'7" turn. Then we'll just start going through. Let's just start. In fact, let's just start doing it now. We'll just start talking about our teams.
Rip it off.
So at the 6'12", I went Brandon Cooks. At the 7'1", I went Amon-Ra St. Brown. I was on the phone with Phil. I was saying I hope one of them fall to me, and they both fell to me. So I felt good about that turn.
Very
But
safe, very safe wide receivers right there.
you think Amon-Ra St. Brown is safe? I think Brandon Cooks is safe.
I think St. Brown's safe too. I think he's going to be more of a target guy more than a big play guy. So I think him and Cooks both have very similar outcomes this year.
All
Similar
right.
kind of teams too.
So in the 7th and 8th rounds, what did you do?
7 and 8 went Gabe Davis. I love Gabe Davis this year. I'm one of the believers that I definitely want the number two in that offense, number two receiver in that offense, and I think he's going to take a big step up. So that was a swing for the fences right there. So in the seventh round, I'll do it every time.
Yep, I hear you. I mean, definitely want the guys with the upside. At the eighth, you went Rashad Penny.
Yep, got to get RB depth. That was all that pick was. Let's hope he stays healthy. He's the lead guy in Seattle right now.
Yep.
But I got three running backs earlier. I just want to get some depth. And at the point where he was going, around Singletary, Walker, Ramondre, I'm going to take the starting running back with not that much competition. So I'm just going to – that's the reason I did it.
And interesting enough, Kenneth Walker went in the same round behind Rashad Penny. So, but in the
wanna be like me.
In the eighth and ninth rounds, I went Dak Prescott and Elijah Moore. I like Elijah Moore. I've been, I've kind of faded him a little bit with the Jets, and they got Garrett Wilson. So, but he went right ahead of Dameon Pierce. I didn't think Dameon Pierce I was kind of hoping he'd drop a little bit, but ninth round, I would have liked to have him, but I went Elijah Moore instead.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick. Elijah Moore I think he's a damn hell of a football player. So I like him better than Garrett Wilson and, some of the guys that go behind him. I think that was a good pick right there.
So tell us what you did at the 9th to 10.
Went Cole Kmet right there. My tight ends that I wanted had already went. Zach Ertz went around before, and it was Cole Kmet or just no tight end at that point. It was just that was my last one. If I didn't get Kmet, it was just like stream tight ends. So,
well, I mean, I like Cole Kmet. Yeah, I feel like that's a good one. Because I feel like a lot of the target share is going to go. It's just him and Mooney. So if you're going to take a shot on a tight end in the back of the draft, I feel like that's a good one to do it.
Yeah, and I feel like rushing quarterbacks, like Lamar, Justin Fields, they like to throw to the player that's right in front of them. They run and run, but Lamar loves Mark Andrews. Like I just see a pattern there with rushing quarterbacks. They love the big guy right in front of their face, which should be Cole Kmet in front of Justin Fields.
Right. So in the 10th, you went Brian Robinson. This looks like he's going to be the starter over Gibson from the looks of things.
Yeah, there's not much to go in there. It's just if you can get a starting running back in the 10th round, you just do it.
Yeah.
There's a chance, you know what I mean?
So to round off, we'll just go ahead and round it all off. In the 10th, I took Kadarius Toney. In the 11th, Tyler Algier. In the 12th, Rashad White. In the 13th, Pacheco. Then I went and got me a backup quarterback in Justin Fields. And then finished it off with a special teams of the kicker. But, I just started grabbing rookie running backs. Guys that could have the potential to play. I like running backs, but you got to take a shot on a few of them too. So at the Kadarius Toney, I felt comfortable with my wide receiver depth. So threw in a backup quarterback in Justin Fields, and that's how I just rounded it all off.
Yeah, but I don't disagree with any of the picks you made. Take the rookie running backs because one of them's bound to break out second half of the year. The main thing with them is having to hold them for so long. If your team can manage not to get injured and you can hold these rookie running backs, one of them's bound to do something and come full steam ahead at the second half of the year.
So go ahead and wrap up your draft.
So after Brian Robinson went Nyheim Hines, I think he's a flex option and slight handcuff. KJ Osborne, which is one of my sleepers this year. I think he's going to see the field a lot in a good offense. Kirk Cousins. My rule for drafting two quarterbacks is if I get Trey Lance, I'll do it. If I get Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts, I will draft another one because you got the rushing upside with these guys, but there's a lot more likely a chance they get injured. So when I get one of them rushing quarterbacks, I like to get a second one, especially like Kirk Cousins there in the 13th. I don't think he went right before Matt Ryan, and I look at him way ahead of Matt Ryan. So I'll take him there. And
like Kirk.
Yeah. And then Kenneth Gainwell, a little upside running back there. And then the Colts, the only reason I picked the Colts is because they play Houston and then Jacksonville week 1 and week 2.
Yeah.
So they're going to be my defense for the first 2 weeks at least. And then got my blankie, Rodrigo Blankenship as my kicker. So feeling pretty happy about that draft. First place, taking all the money before it even starts.
Yep, so that about wraps up our mock draft. We went through the first few rounds, told you how we did our teams. I think we both feel pretty comfortable with our squads. I'm sure everybody feels comfortable with our squads. So
there's a lot of good teams in this league, though. You got any shout outs to some of the teams that you really liked and teams that you didn't like so much?
Man, okay, well, I'll just put it like this. I could definitely tell Matty Boy knew what he was doing. Slim Easy. Honestly, this was just a tough draft period. A lot of these guys, like the White Snake or whatever, starting off Jamar, Stephon, and Keenan. Herbert. So we're talking about that's just a deadly first 4 rounds. So, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of good teams.
Yeah, Noah with Jefferson, Debo, Mike Evans, ETN. There's a lot of huge upside there with the wide receivers. So
definitely a competitive league. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But shoot, man, let's wrap it on up, man. Anything you got to say to these people? What it is.
Yeah, I mean, if you can replicate, my draft in your draft, just do it. You're gonna win. Just take a picture of that team.
Yeah.
Roll with it, and take the money.
Well, shoot, man. Add the podcast, the Cruise Dynasty podcast. Check out all the other stuff we're working on in the company. But yeah, that wraps it up. That was that mock draft for your ass. But yeah, we out.
Peace.